You're watching WDSU. A 24-hour manhunt for the suspect accused of killing a New Orleans police officer is over.
Travis Boyes was found. We knew we were going to get him. It was just a matter of time.
As the case against Travis Boyes builds, our community comes together to remember Officer Daryl Holloway.
First, at 5 o'clock, he was caught getting onto an RTA bus in the 9th Ward. Now, the 33-year-old accused of killing an NOPD veteran is in jail.
And the officer's family is spending this Father's Day devastated and grieving.
I want to say that I could forgive him, but right now I can't.
In this exclusive video, you can see Travis Boyes being transported to OPP after his arrest this morning near the intersection of St. Claude Avenue and Forstall.
We have team coverage for you this evening. We begin with WDSU reporter LaTanya Norton, who explains how officers were able to track Boyes down.
Captured.
We were going to be relentless, no matter how long it took.
After 24 hours on the run, murder suspect Travis Boyes, accused of killing Officer Daryl Holloway, a 22-year veteran of the New Orleans Police Department, is back in custody. Sunday morning outside NOPD headquarters, Superintendent Michael Harrison, joined by Mayor Mitch Landrieu, told reporters Boyes was arrested in the lower 9th Ward.
He was attempting to board an RTA bus. He had busted handcuffs on him. We don't know where he got off, but the officers knew that he got on the bus. They then began to pursue him, and at some point he got off and was apprehended by the officers.
Exclusive video captures Boyes dehydrated moments after the arrest and transferred to LSU Hospital. From there, Orleans Parish Prison, where he was headed Saturday morning after his arrest Friday night for aggravated battery. Superintendent Harrison says while handcuffed in the backseat of Holloway's patrol car, Boyes produced a gun, killing Holloway. Investigators recovered 2 guns in addition to Holloway's, which was still in his holster.
One of the guns was a .38 caliber revolver, which was used in the original battery, which he was arrested for. And then there was a .40 caliber weapon, a Smith & Wesson, which was also recovered in a vehicle, which was believed to be used in this heinous crime. Now, how Boyes was able to retrieve this weapon is still under investigation.
But make no mistake about it, when you take the life of a police officer, you take the life of a community as well. And that's something that will not stand in the city of New Orleans.
Mayor Mitch Landrieu calls Holloway a hero whose tragic death kicked off an intense manhunt supported by a dozen law enforcement agencies.
When something happens in the city, all hands on deck, and everybody's moving fast and aggressively, and they're not stopping.
Superintendent Harrison says Holloway was a personal friend and full of life, a life now mourned by the entire NOPD.
If there was something funny about you, he was going to let everybody know. And so I'm going to miss him. We're all going to miss him, and New Orleans will miss Daryl Holloway.
On your side, LaTanya Norton, WDSU News.
And there are many unanswered questions tonight about suspect Travis Boyes. To help us walk us through what's next in the case, we're joined now by legal analyst Robert Jenkins. Mr. Jenkins, thanks for being with us. Let's talk about what's next. What about the first court appearance?
Well, excuse me, it's likely his first court appearance will be tomorrow. And it'll be tomorrow morning about 9 or 10 o'clock at Orleans Parish.
And what kind of bond is he eligible for?
Well, because he's charged with first-degree murder, a capital offense, he's not entitled to a bond, and the judge is going to tell him that there will be no bond set.
And what will life be like for Boyes inside the prison walls?
Well, it's likely that he's going to be in isolation, kept away from the other inmates and defendants inside the jail. This is one of those unusual situations with police officers in the sense that Officer Holloway was well-known, he was well-liked, and on many occasions he would give people money out there to help the homeless, help those on the street. So if you have people in jail that he had arrested or whatever, they're going to try to take action against them.
So he's likely to be in isolation right now?
Likely to be in isolation for quite some time.
Let's talk about that outcry from the community. We've heard support from far and near. Will this force the attorney to request a change of venue?
Well, there are going to be a lot of motions filed in this case, and it's likely they're going to file a change of venue because of the notoriety. But because it's in Orleans Parish, it's likely they want to keep it here because he's going to be convicted, and you want to save his life, and that's the way you can do it in Orleans Parish.
He is no stranger to the law.
No.
Will this take any effect on this particular case?
Well, at some point during this case, his priors will come in, what we call a penalty phase, and it's likely to get there. So those will be in effect whether or not he'll live or die. But that goes to his terms when they're going to put on the mitigation. The point is, he's looking at life in prison or death.
So it's one of the two.
One of the two.
One of the two. Okay, let's talk about Officer Holloway. You knew him personally, right?
We all knew him. I knew him. Many people in that area in the 5th District knew him. See him in the court, always had a smile, always willing to help. And he would help people on the street, as we talked about. So it's going to be very difficult for Mr. Boyes to come in and try to say this guy did anything to him, the officer. It's going to be very difficult. He was well liked.
And we can expect to see Boyes in court tomorrow morning.
It's likely to be there tomorrow morning, no later than Tuesday, but there will be a no bond on this particular case.
No bond.
No bond.
Okay, good deal. Robert Jenkins, thanks for being with us.
Well, tonight, slain Officer Darrell Holloway is being remembered by family and friends for his bravery. Officer Holloway served the New Orleans Police Department for more than 20 years and was part of the NOPD's 5th District. He was also very hands-on in his community, working with the children in the Cops for Kids summer program, and was very active in the Florida and Desire housing projects. And there has been an outpouring of support to his family and the NOPD family. WDSU reporter Casey Ferrand is in the 7th Ward, and she joins us live now to tell us more about how the community and Holloway's family are dealing with his death. Casey.
Well, Charles, we spent plenty of the afternoon here at this family home in the 7th Ward speaking with relatives. It's been a whirlwind few days for those relatives, and they've been receiving an outpouring of support from the community as well as officers who are showing up to show their condolences to this officer and their family. Now, we've been able to speak to his 92-year-old grandmother as well as 2 of his aunts and his younger sister. A host of other relatives are here today as his family grieves this tragic loss. They say they knew his job was dangerous, but they never imagined he'd be killed in such a terrible and cowardly way. Holloway's godmother says she's glad the suspect, 33-year-old Travis Boyes, is in custody so that he hopefully will never be able to hurt anyone else. Although she says forgiveness is hard right now, her thoughts are also with the family of Travis Boyes.
I want to say that I could forgive him, but right now I can't. It's too close. I just can't. I will pray for him because from now on things are not going to be good for him. And I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, whatever's going to happen to him. But it needs to be in God's hands. And we need to pray. We need to pray for ourselves and we need to pray for him. Because I don't think his mama raised him to do something like that. I don't think she did. I really don't. And I don't know what went wrong to lead him down that path, but I don't think that was her intentions. So it's not just us that are hurting, although we will never see him again. But they're hurting too. It just needs to stop.
So obviously a lot of emotions inside this home today, and coming up in a few more minutes we'll hear more from Holloway's godmother about what he meant to this family and his community he served. On your side, I'm Casey Ferrand. Back to you.
And our coverage on this big story continues on our website, WDSU.com. There you can find raw video and interviews. Also new for you at 5 o'clock, a murder in Algiers.
It happened around 2:45 this afternoon near the intersection of Mar Avenue and Donner Drive. That's where a man was found shot inside of a pickup truck.
He died at the scene, and so far police have not given any details about the suspect in that shooting.
And new information this evening in the investigation into a woman's body that was found in New Orleans East. Police say her body was found inside of a burned vehicle near Lake Forest and Michoud Boulevard around 7 this morning. Now, her death has been classified as a murder by the coroner. An exact cause of death has not been identified. Her identity has not been released pending notification of family.
In the 9th Ward now, police searching for a suspect that left a man dead. They say it happened just before 2 o'clock this morning on Lamont Street. That's near Law Street. By the time police arrived, the 40-year-old man was already dead. They've not released any information about the suspect.
And today, worshipers are returning to the Charleston Church where 9 lives were taken just a few days ago.
And while the congregation joins in prayer, the rest of the nation is still trying to come to grips with the tragedy that's now part of a larger conversation about race relations. Brian Moore reports from Washington.
Bells rang throughout Charleston as the church known as Mother Emanuel reopened its doors for the first time since 9 people were gunned down during a Wednesday night Bible study.
I want you to know, because the doors of Mother Emanuel is open on this Sunday. It sends a message to every demon in hell and on earth.
They called it a healing service.
I want you to hug 3 persons right next to you. Tell them it's going to be all right.
Singing and prayers punctuated by displays of unity, love, and respect.
Different races and such different cultures and different beliefs all in there holding hands and saying, we're going to get through this.
Images like these, a sharp contrast to the emerging portrait of the alleged gunman, 21-year-old Dylan Roof. But despite the racial hatred in the writings attributed to the suspect, few at Mother Emanuel today were willing to condemn him.
We pray for that young man because he's sick, something wrong with him.
In Charleston, a day of healing, but still a work in progress. Brian Moore, NBC News.
When we return, we go back out to the 7th Ward, where the family of Officer Daryl Holloway is coping with their loss on this Father's Day, how they're staying strong for the children, and how the community is showing their support.
And today, the longest day of the year, also marked the start of summer. It was a hot one. I'll let you know if better rain chances are on the way in my full exact cast.
Hey, look, hey, mic check, mic 1, 2, 3, 4. Is the car right here? Okay.
And recapping tonight's big local story, a man accused of killing a New Orleans police officer is in custody after being on the run for nearly 24 hours. 33-year-old Travis Boyes is charged with first-degree murder of a police officer for the death of Daryl Holloway. He also faces charges of aggravated escape and illegal possession of a firearm. Now, the family of Officer Holloway is spending a day that should have been filled with laughter and fun in mourning. And the children of Officer Holloway took to Twitter showing their disbelief and shock over this death. And his community in the Desire neighborhood is also banding together to show their support. Now we're going to go back out to WDSU reporter Casey Ferran, who has been visiting with Holloway's family. And Casey, how's the family doing?
Well, Charles, obviously a difficult time for the family and as well as this community. They've been receiving an outpouring of support from people in the community coming by to give donations, offer condolences. And you can see one of the officers here right now is parked giving support to the family. This is an officer who's been here for a couple of hours from the first district. As we know, Officer Holloway served in the 5th district. Now, we've also been able to speak to Holloway's godmother, his grandmother, and his younger sister. They shared some stories about his upbringing and carnivals spent here at his grandmother's house and how he loved their cooking. They say he was a jokester, a protector, and a friend to many who knew him. But most of all, they say he was a man who was a huge part of their close-knit family.
It's really hard because Daryl was the oldest grandchild for my mother. He was my oldest nephew. He was my godson. And he was just a joy. We looked to him for everything. He was our protector. He was our joy. He always made us laugh. He always took care of us. If we needed things, he would come around to check on us. His daily routine most of the time would be to come and have breakfast with my mother every morning before he would go to work, or in the evening he would come and sit in the chair in my mother's room. She has this big overstuffed recliner, and he would sit there and look at television. 99% of the time he would be sleeping, and all of the kids looked up to him. That was their Uncle Daryl, and he was just a joy. He clowned with him, he played with him. He was good to them, and they all just looked up to him, and it's so hard. It is so hard because everybody, he was a friend, he was uncle, he was brother, he was everything to everybody.
And of course, obviously, still a sad time for this family, but they are finding consolation and being able to share some of those positive stories and memories of Officer Holloway. We spoke to another relative who says that he and their bike club will be hosting a vigil, which will end here at his grandmother's home on Tuesday evening. We'll have more coming up tonight at 10. On your side, I'm Casey Ferran. Back to you.
All right, Casey, thanks for sharing that family story with us. Boy, what an emotional time it must be, and of course, our hearts and prayers with all of them. All right, let's switch now and talk about our exact cast. Did you go outside today, Charles?
On the way here, it's a hot
It's
one.
hot. I mean, it is like boiling out there.
It's the first day of summer, so it should be
right.
hot.
It is, that's right.
Yeah, first day of summer, you guys. As of 11:38 this morning, the summer solstice occurred. 14 hours, 4 minutes, and 29 seconds of daylight is what we get today. The heat certainly in full force and temperatures responding. Low to mid-90s. Here's a look outside. Not too much rainfall across the area. The satellite and radar are showing where we do have some isolated activity right now, but most of that confined to Mississippi around Jackson County. Over Van Cleve right now. Nice little downpour there, but short-lived. And other areas are dry. High pressure still out to our southeast, spinning in the winds out of the south and southwest so far this afternoon, helping to pump those temperatures up. As we moved into the summer solstice time frame, 90 degrees was the temperature, so certainly hot by that time already. Our highs this afternoon, low to mid-90s, 94 at the Lakefront Airport, 93 in Hammond. It's still 92 degrees, and Kenner winds are south at 8 miles per hour. Heat index values still in the triple digits for many locations, feeling like 104 in Biloxi, 101 at the Lakefront Airport. Hopefully with that little shower over Biloxi, we'll see that heat index drop down just a bit. A great day for some cold drinks. Mary Turner Vincent said, one for Dad, one for me. Just in case you want to know, that's some lemonade there on the table. I'm sure lots of that being ingested through today. Through this evening and by tonight, 9 o'clock, still temperatures upper 70s, lower 80s across the area. Still a warm and humid night. And into Monday morning, mid and upper 70s North Shore, upper 70s, lower 80s for the South Shore. So really not looking at any relief in terms of humidity as we move into the morning hours of Monday. A nice treat for us tonight. If you look into the western sky when the sun sets, the moon is up. You also notice Regulus, the star associated with Leo, the constellation, and then just south of that, Jupiter and then Venus. So a couple of planets out there and some bright stars. Lots of activity to our north right now. Some severe weather watches all associated with the frontal boundary that's to the north. But our focus will be this high pressure because it'll be in transition around our region through the next couple of days. So that means rain chances will be on the scattered side. So increase for the area, a better chance at some scattered showers and storms. Monday still pretty low, but right around 30%. This is Monday morning, 1 1 a.m. We could have some activity along the coast in the morning hours, some of that backing on into the metro area by the end of your commute time, that tail end. As we move into the afternoon, still some instability possible, so rain chances still around 30%, highs low to mid 90s. Monday night, 74 to 80 degrees. And then as we roll into Tuesday, we're looking at scattered rain and storm chances as well, which will last through Wednesday. Again, it's going to be all about this shift of high pressure, which will be over the area Tuesday afternoon. That'll still promote rain and storm chances at least Monday through Thursday, Wednesday of 30%. As far as the tropics are concerned, this is the Atlantic, nice and mainly dry with that drier air. No tropical development expected over the next 2 to 5 days. Great news. For tonight, 75 to 81 degrees, just a few clouds, staying warm. The next 7 days, more 90-degree temperatures, more heat index values range between 94 and 102 degrees. Rain chances after Wednesday back down 10 to 20%. But to you all, I say happy summer, and to all of our dads, of course, happy Father's Day.
Yep, and drink some nice lemonade to stay cool while you're at it.
Yeah, and whatever else you'd like.
Yeah, that's right. Cheers. All right, new tonight at 5 o'clock, a St. Tammany fugitive wanted on dozens of child pornography charges has been arrested in Florida. Police in Winter Park were tipped off about Christopher Lee Parker after being alerted about a YouTube video. Officials say the video was posted by an anonymous user that alleged Parker owned a website associated with child porn. He was taken into custody Saturday, facing 81 counts of possession of porn involving juveniles.
Well, next in sports, could this LSU Tigers baseball coach head down to New Orleans to lead UNO? The latest on the Privateers' search for a coach is next in sports.
Check, check. How's that? How's that? How's that? Hello, hello, hello. Okay, cool. Thank you, Nicholas. Yeah. The box.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Fletcher Macklin. The UNO Privateers are getting closer to hiring a baseball coach. Sources tell WDSU that Alabama State head coach Mervil Melendez is the school's #1 target. Here's the only problem. UNO may not be able to pay Melendez what he's making at ASU. And the 41-year-old Puerto Rican, who's been to the NCAA tournament 11 times, has a six-figure buyout that also may be too rich for the privateers. LSU volunteer coach Will Davis is interviewing with UNO athletics director Derek Morrell on Monday. Davis has been on Pulmonary's staff for 8 seasons. Also under consideration, former LSU star and current UNO assistant coach Blake Dean. A decision could be made late this week or early next week. And now to New Orleans Saints defensive team captain Junior Gillette, who's back in the news for another alleged off-the-field issue. On Saturday, NOLA.com, the Times-Picayune newspaper, was the first to report about a video which shows a man who's reportedly Junior Gillette in a brawl and hitting a woman in the face with his belt. This is the video. It can be found on YouTube under the title Spring Break 2013 South Beach Brawl. The man wearing the white shirt and white shorts is reportedly Junior Gillette. 18 seconds into the video, that man hits a woman in the face with his belt. Later in the video, the same man reappears and starts throwing punches at various people. The video is more than 2 years old. It's from March of 2013. If this is Gillette, it's going to be very bad for the 27-year-old outside linebacker. Gillette's attorney says the man in the video is not Junior, but comparing photos from Junior Gillette's Instagram page in 2013 with the video, I think most people would agree the man with the belt and throwing punches appears to be the Saints' sack leader. ESPN reports that Gillette is scheduled to meet with NFL officials later this month to determine if he should receive punishment from a January incident at his home. All charges in that case were dropped. Gillette met the media prior to the video being released yesterday. He met the media last week for the first time this offseason at the Saints minicamp, and he apologized for his off-the-field issues. Coming up tonight at 10 o'clock, we're going to have legal analysis on the Junior Gillette case. We're going to hear from experts. Can a case still be reopened against Junior Gillette if he is in fact the man in the video? And could the case in Kenner be reopened because of this new video that has come to light? It's a very difficult offseason for Junior Gillette, and it could get worse from this point going forward.
Do we know who's analyzing that video, or is that a police decision?
The Saints say they are aware of the video, and they've sent it to the league office. And again, we'll have legal analysts in tonight to discuss if criminal charges in South Florida could come now that this video has been released.
Okay, good deal, Fletcher. Thanks so much. We'll be right back after the break. You can always get us online, WDSU.com.
We're still in the 90s for a couple more hours. 8 o'clock, still upper 80s, so a warm, humid evening and still warm overnight. Rain chances better tomorrow.
All right, well, we'll see you again at 10 o'clock. Happy Father's Day.